Hello everyone, I've been working on a science fiction tabletop RPG based on the 5th edition rules that a certain very popular fantasy RPG is also based on, and this is possible because the system reference document that contains the 5th edition rules was released under the Creative Commons with Attribution license, and this is the attribution that they asked for, so I put it in there. And that's great and all, it gives me a head start. However, everything has to be sort of translated from fantasy to sci-fi, and that's actually a bigger job than it at first seems. But I have been working on it, and I made a video recently about this. At that point, this document was 100 pages long or so. Now it's 228, but as you can see, it is all formatted in a smaller scale format, sort of paperback size, as opposed to normal RPG size, which is 8.5 by 11 and double columned. So eventually it's not going to be that many pages if I format it like that, though normally RPG books like that also have pictures. But I've got lots to work on still. I've got the feats, I've got an equipment list. I have to make the creatures. Well, creatures in this case are different kinds of automated systems, robots, drones, and then bioengineered animals. So there'll be bioengineered animals, especially on Titan, to survive on Titan. So that's going to be a major sort of location for people. But the normal sort of 5th edition rules also has different species, different races. I'll eventually intend to have those, but not yet. Those will be actual aliens that once we get to the part where you can do travel between star systems, then you can meet those, or they can come over to our solar system. But right now, this is meant to be a very realistic sort of thing, and at this point, confined to the solar system. And so it's just humans at this point. And I've added the playing the game section, which again is just a matter of translating it. So now I'm talking about station corridor, surface of the moon, contested habitat ring, instead of other things. I did reword things a bit because I have my own flavor and I tend to write things a little bit more simply. So a lot of the verbosity I got rid of. But otherwise, it's mostly the same thing. The purpose of this is that it should be familiar to everybody who has played with the 5th edition rules before, which, as far as tabletop RPG goes, it's probably the most popular thing. And so it's easier to jump into. And so the playing the game part should be the same. And then I also added the character creation. There are slight differences to the skills that I have here. And then a few differences to the actions, like execute protocol. We have scientific protocols instead of spells. Well, we have it's not just scientific protocols. I should change that. Protocols, I don't want to say is just scientific, but the idea is that they're taking the place of spells. I made the playing the game. I made the character creation section. So let me get there. Character creation is here. And so these are the classes: soldier, anarchist, which is like barbarian, smuggler, diplomat or spy, scientist, naturalist, pilot, special ops, engineer, explorer, cyborg, and agent. And they all have their 5th edition equivalent with minor changes to how they work out. And, because those changes made sense. But otherwise, it's mostly keeping things the same. And that was the goal. So you can sort of translate things directly. It's probably possible for you to take a character from fantasy 5th edition and just translate it into a character in the Future Frontier version. Personal effects, that's fun. Though I only have 40 here. You're supposed to have 100 for D100. Personal effects, I'm not there yet. So I've shown some of this before. The classes, the details of the classes. I'm not quite done yet with those. In fact, I did get AI help with this. I basically fed the document to ChatGPT and said, ChatGPT, what have I got wrong? And ChatGPT said a whole lot. Let me see if I can get the exact wording, because it's funny. So I had already asked it what I was missing, just so that I know what I needed to work on. But then I asked it, note any mistakes or imbalances in the player handbook as it is so far. So no new additions, just what I have so far, any mistakes or imbalances. And it goes, well, the handbook is in much better state than many early RPG drafts, but there are definitely some inconsistencies, balance, risk, wording issues, and incomplete design assumptions that will cause problems in actual play if left unresolved. And then it proceeded to give me 20 things, which is about as many as it possibly could have given, considering its normal output. It gave me every single inch of its possible output, telling me things that were wrong with this. So I have a lot more to work on. But anyway, here's that portion. And then we have eventually down here the protocols, which are the spells. So these are just the classes and subclasses. There's a skills overview and then the protocols. So they fall into biology, chemistry, remote sensing, social engineering, electromagnetism engineering, materials science, quantum mechanics, neurology. Quantum mechanics was really stretching it. But then they have the equivalent. Biology is necromancy. Not exactly, but you know, this is the closest I can get. Chemistry, transmutation, pretty much exactly. Divination is remote sensing. Enchantment, evocation, conjuration. So we have our equivalents there. And then protocol access, and then the protocol lists by levels, and then the description of the protocols down here. Now, I am very well aware that some of these, the names are a little bit repetitious, and I even will concede I got help with the names from the AI because I can't come up with a billion names. I still need to underline some of these. I had started to underline it, see, like that. And then I somehow managed to stop underlining the names of the, so I have to go through and make sure I underline all of them. Great. So formatting consistency is a huge thing. And then I'm going to have to reformat it all again for the 8.5 by 11 sized one. But so that gets us quite a lot of our distance in here. And once it's 2 columns, it'll probably look better. But then I have to work on the equipment and the creatures, your enemies, and feats, and then the systems that actually aren't even in 5th edition. Ship battles, and, you know, making bases and stuff like that. There are a few things I have promised. Oh, and environmental effects like radiation and stuff like that. So, and what to do with low gravity, I have to write that up. And so there's plenty more to do, but I'm gonna put this PDF in the video description just so that people can give feedback on how it is right now, because it's a lot of stuff and I need feedback and nobody's giving it to me except for an AI. But I would encourage folks to give me some feedback. That'd be great. I don't want to be talking just to an AI about these things. So, there it is. It's been the thing. My purpose here is not just to have this document. My purpose is to then use it for things like making games, like having a pixel art RPG kind of thing. So, you know, making a Unity game out of it. So this is all just background for that kind of thing. So you can have a little sci-fi space adventure with a computer game that is based on these rules. So there's that aspect to it. And so I might as well get this done for that. So anyway, that's the idea. Long-term project. Nothing to be rushed. But you guys can take a look at this and tell me what you think. And that's the Future Frontier RPG. So again, there's gonna be plenty of changes to be made, but I'll give sort of a monthly progress report, and I think I'll go with that. So with that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.